morning. I'd like to call this special meeting of the Southampton Town Board to order on August 26, 2021. Please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Madam Clerk, would you read the special meeting notice and follow it with a roll call?
There we go. Excellent. Members of the Town Board, special Town Board meeting Thursday, August 26, 2021 at 10 a.m. Please be advised that pursuant to Section 62 of Town Law, a special Town Board meeting will be held in the Town Board Meeting Room, Southampton Town Hall, 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, New York, on Thursday, August 26, 2021 at 10 a.m. for the purpose of considering the following: award contract to provide shuttle bus services for South Fork Commuter Connection. Jay Schneiderman, Supervisor, dated August 25th, 2021. Supervisor Schneiderman,
Present.
Councilwoman Lofstad,
Here.
Councilman Martell,
Here.
Councilman Bouvier,
Here.
Councilman Scavone.
Present.
Okay, I will go to public portion. Is there anyone who wishes to be heard in public portion? Seeing none, I will make a motion to close public portion.
Second.
Second by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So the purpose of today's meeting is for just one resolution. And, I apologize for the shortness in time in terms of notice, and we did waive the 24-hour requirement. Here's the basic issue. There is a train coming September 7th, which is the reinstatement of the South Fork Commuter Connection service. So the Long Island Railroad is once again resuming what it had suspended during COVID, which was the morning train that Assemblyman Thiel worked so hard to get off the ground. And it was really doing well pre-COVID. It was starting to pick up in ridership, and we all know how bad the traffic is. And there really are not a lot of options for people to get to work. And the train is a great option to get to work quickly and affordably, so and comfortably, safely. So we're really thankful for the Long Island Railroad for starting it up again. Unfortunately, they didn't give us an awful lot of lead notice, and we had promised that we would take care of the last mile of service, which is helping people get from the train stations to their place of employment. And we do this free of charge to the riders at this point. Initially, there was a charge. Now it's free. And we need to give the contractor who is going to provide the shuttle service some lead time so that they know that they have this contract, they can hire the drivers, they can put the equipment in place, and make whatever necessary arrangements they need to make so that they're up and running on September 7th. It's a very short window. Now, we had bid this already. So we had 3 bids that were ready to go pre-COVID. When the service got suspended, we never awarded the bids. We worked off those bids. There were 3 different bidders, as I said, and today the resolution in front of us will be to award that bid to the Hampton Hopper. So I will make the motion. So this is Town Board Resolution 37278. It awards contract for South Fork Commuter Connection shuttle services to Hampton Hopper LLC. Let's get a second, and then we can bring up some people. So
Second.
second by Councilman Schiavone. Tom, do you want to come forward for any questions?
The table or the podium?
Yeah, the podium is fine. So, Tom, you've reviewed the proposals. This was I know one contractor dropped out. This was basically the lowest responsible bidder, Hampton Hopper, and they are ready to go.
Excuse me,
Yes.
Supervisor?
Yeah.
I thought that we had a substitute for this one, for 37278. They were substituting
Oh, okay, you-
37280.
I just brought that up, and Kim is going to see, because I didn't receive a substitute.
Oh, okay, so
Just got it. right before we came.
okay, so,
Council office.
so,
Must be in.
Yeah, no, I think they're going with the one on your agenda, as far as I understand, but we'll
so
let you
I do have some notes here too, so,
There's some
Councilman
formatting
Scavone has a
issues.
different version than what's in.
It just sounds like
understand
the
that. That's-
positioning of paragraphs and
Format's
some
messed up.
additional clarification on it. Okay, so meanwhile, we'll sort that out in a second.
that's
Let's just make sure we all understand what it is we're trying to accomplish here. Tom, do you want to provide any additional information?
I think you've provided a pretty good summary. We did get approval from the town attorney to revisit the three proposals that were received in July of 2020, if the folks that had submitted the original proposals agreed to those original terms for review. And we obtained that approval from the three different companies, went through the review process, have spoken to them and emailed with them, and supervisors, you said we have determined that Hampton Hopper would be the lowest responsible bidder that's able to start the service on September 7th for both the Southampton morning and evening shuttles to and from the trains, and for the Bridgehampton morning and evening shuttles to and from the trains. The contract would be in effect through March 31st, and so it's about 140 to 150 days of service. We have 150 days of service in the resolution, just to make sure we're covered on that. But as I said, it would go through March 31st of next year, and I think in between that time we will probably develop new bid specs, and again go out to bid for the contract at that time.
So it says 150 days, that's roughly March 1st?
March 31st.
31st.
We've now timed it to coincide with the state fiscal year, because, and I'm sure it's worth mentioning that these funds to pay for these buses are through the DOT, through, again, the work, I think, of Assemblyman Thiel. I would like to point out that back in 2007 and 2008, when this first ran as a temporary service while County Road 39 was being reconstructed, the town paid for the shuttle buses out of our own capital fund. So it's certainly significant that, we're able to, or Assemblyman Thiel was able to obtain state funding for these.
What was the resolution 747 of 2020 that this is rescinding?
Because we did not go forward with the proposals at that time, because the service had been suspended by the time the proposals were submitted, my understanding, it's kind of a formality that we reject the proposals that we don't go forward with. And so that's being rescinded, because we did use those original proposals with the approval of the three companies involved. Am I stating that right?
We would have been contractually obligated to pay for a bus for a train that didn't exist during the pandemic.
Right. We had issued
So
the
we-
RFP, and between issuing the RFP and the proposals being received, the service was suspended. So we rejected the proposals at that time.
And the train schedule, Tom? Is
The
that
train
changing?
schedule is the same as it has been in past years, or in the 2019 and early 2020 when we ran it. The connecting bus schedule right now is the same. We will, of course, work to see if we have any special requests or any other changes that we might need to make to the connecting shuttle buses. We are also hoping to integrate the Suffolk County Transit On-Demand service that's now operating between Southampton Village and Sag Harbor Village, that may provide an opportunity for people to use that service, which right now is being operated by the county funded this test model program. That would provide an opportunity for people in that area that aren't served by our regular bus routes to get to or from the train and able to use the service as well. So we're looking to tie those together too.
Okay, any other questions?
No, but I want to thank you for coming back and doing this. I know you worked with our office looking at different hours of employers in the areas and the school districts to see if there was any significant change as far as employees and possible riders for the train, and things seem to be relatively the same.
Right. I think, and I think that's a good point. I think now we have to get back out there. There's certainly a lot of built-up interest in this service, and we do have a pretty significant email list and Facebook list that we put together from when it operated in the past. So we'll be sending out notices in those methods to all of the people that, that are on those lists, so they're aware of it. I'm sure we're going to get a pretty fair amount of publicity over it starting up. But, reaching out to some of the individual businesses again and the school districts is also very important, that I think, hopefully this is going to be a forever plan now, forever transit system, and we can really start to move forward with that.
So just one question, because I'm a little confused here. I just saw the schedule from the MTA.
Yes.
So it's saying effective September 7th, which makes
Right.
sense, to
Right.
November 14th of 2021. I'm assuming that's for this schedule?
Right.
Okay.
That,
So this might be confusing to people. Just how long is this service intended to run? So the public has that information.
we anticipate it to be year-round, and that is a good point. Maybe we'll discuss whether we need to put that on there. That is picked up from the MTA schedule. They change their schedules, or notice that their schedules may change roughly quarterly. We don't anticipate a change to our portion of this schedule, but we do put that in there as part of what they put with all their schedules.
Okay, great. And our service, that is the extra mile, is during the weekdays, not on the weekends.
Correct, correct. And again, in working with the railroad, we've gone back to listing all of the trips that they have that are in this same general Monday to Friday time frame, because one of the things we learned when it was running, a year and a half ago, is that total Long Island Railroad ridership on the East End was increasing, not just the riding on our South Fork commuter connection. So we talked to them and said, well, let's list all of the trips, because we may find that there's some people, maybe they don't use the bus, but they could take one of the trains that fall under our commuter connection umbrella in one direction and take one of these other trains that don't follow under our umbrella in the other direction. So I think we really want to show people, hey, there's a whole lot of different trips out there. You can go out for the morning, but come back at lunchtime, or whatever else, by showing all of the trips.
And we were seeing that 2 years ago. People were arranging their own transportation to their final destination through a variety of means. They would get off the train and get there some other way.
Right, and again, that was a little different from what happened back in 2007 and 8, is we saw that more people were finding their own way from the train than using the shuttle bus. And again, I think that's something we're going to monitor and carefully as we go forward for, March of 22, March 31 of 22.
Well, the train trip from Hampton Bays to Bridgehampton is 18 minutes. It's 10 minutes to Southampton from Hampton Bays, so
Right.
By
we
train,
could start the pitch here.
an hour by car.
Longer. I just was on an hour and 20 minutes this morning for me.
Really?
Wow.
That's Ponquag to Katrina.
That's West Hampton to, yeah.
And, we do have, residents that are watching, or who's ever watching. They are able to access all this information on the websites that are listed. They're also able to reach out to the town for individual information or, consultations. I can tell you that, again, when this operated, we got an awful lot of phone calls, we got an awful lot of emails, because websites are great, but sometimes you kind of need to talk to somebody. And so, we're going to be available for that as well.
And you're publicizing this too, I know, in some, working on social media or advertising or something.
Right, we'll be doing some social media. There is a press conference tomorrow in Hampton Bays with the president of the Long Island Railroad and Assemblyman
invited.
Thiel. Everybody, I'm sure, is invited, and Assemblyman Thiel will be there, and the president of the railroad. So, we expect to get a good amount of publicity about it at that point.
All right, any other questions for Tom? All right.
Tom, those are, the 150 days, those are operational days, that's how we get to the end of March?
Right, right. It's roughly 22 days a month
Okay.
for the next 7 months. When you look at the weekday schedules, and then you take Thanksgiving we're off, it's off on Thanksgiving, it's off on Christmas, it's off on New Year's. So when you look at the math, it's about 22 days a month roughly.
It is cancelable too with 30 days' notice, so we could, if for some reason the service is suspended on the Long Island Railroad, we don't have to, beyond 30 days, pay the contract.
Right. Actually, that was what we had to do last time because of the pandemic. We had to invoke that. So you're right. We can cancel our contract with the vendor on 30 days' notice.
Now, this contractor, Hampton Hopper, we've used them before, right? They had one of the services last time.
Right. They did the Southampton shuttle last year.
Okay, and we had no issues with them?
No, service level was very good. They provide weekly reports, which are required, and, a little geeky, little inside baseball here, but they provide us the weekly ridership reports in a very timely manner.
And now,
No complaints about their service.
And I think Jitney had the Bridgehampton, so the Hopper will now have Bridgehampton and Southampton.
Bridgehampton and Southampton. The Hampton Jitney did not bid.
Do you know in East Hampton, or, I know Hopper had all of their service, are they
Right.
continuing to provide all their service?
I've not heard. I got the impression that that was, going to be arranged, but
So it's
I've not
possible the
actually-
Hopper, Hampton's Hopper will be the service provider for all the train stations?
Right.
Possible, we're not sure, but.
Right.
All right, so what we have to do is we do have to clarify something here. So we have a resolution we could substitute or amend. This is Resolution 37280. It repositions some of the paragraphs and it provides some further clarification. It's not substantively different, but it's a little bit better. So maybe I'll ask our counsel, would it be better to amend it to the language shown in this alternative, or just substitute it?
It would be better to substitute it if you're going to do that. Kim, did you get any clarification from them on which, I know you went out to see which one they wanted to go with? Okay.
All right, so let me,
substitution should be
I'll
better.
withdraw the motion to approve on 37278, and instead I'll make a motion, we'll do this in two steps, to substitute 37280 for it. Can I get a second on the
Second.
substitution? Second by Councilman Schiavone, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, now I will make a motion to approve 37280. This is co-sponsored by Councilman Schiavone, and this is awarding the contract for the South Fork Commuter Connection to shuttle services to Hampton's Hopper.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone. Any additional discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that is approved. All right, that is the only resolution on our agenda. Is there any other business? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to close our special meeting.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.